The hair and hair follicles are part of the integumentary system. The integumentary system, or the cutaneous membrane, is the skin and the accessory structures associated with the skin. For the layers of the skin, the outermost layer is the epidermis, and the innermost layer is the dermis, each of which are made up of several sublayers. Below the cutaneous membrane is the subcutaneous layer, or the hypodermis. The accessory structures of the skin are derived from the epidermis and include the hair follicles, the exocrine glands, and the nails. The hair follicles produce hairs that protect the skull and provide delicate touch sensations on the general body surface. Accessory structures of the skin develop from the epidermis layers during development. Hair follicles are tiny hair-producing organs that extend deep into the dermis and often subcutaneous layers. So you can see here on this diagram, all of this is epidermis, starting with the outermost surface of the skin and down all the way into these purple layers. So the epidermis dips down to produce the hair follicle, and this is then dipping deep down into the dermis layers, which are here in pink. And as soon as you see yellow, this fat tissue marks the subcutaneous or the hypodermis layers. Hair itself then is produced by the hair follicle and is this brown structure you can see diagrammed here that extends above the surface of the skin. The hair follicle is made up of epithelial cells derived from the outer layers of the skin that produce hair. Down here is the hair matrix, which contains the dividing cells that will push towards the surface to produce the hair. All of this structure then is part of the hair. The hair papilla is this lump of connective tissue here in this lighter blue color that is at the base of the hair follicle and contains blood vessels and nerves supplying the hair and hair follicle. The hair bulb is this enlarged region surrounding the base of the hair follicle and surrounding the papilla. The layers of the hair follicle from the inside out start here where the hair itself ends. So this brown structure here is all hair, and then this first lighter brown layer is the internal root sheath. This is produced by the matrix cells that are dividing and surrounds the root and will degrade closer as the hair gets closer to the skin surface. The external root sheath is this lighter purple color diagrammed here. It's made up of epidermis layers surrounding the entire root from the root of the hair all the way to the surface. The glassy membrane is this dark purple layer, which is a basement membrane-like layer that surrounds the external root sheath. The last outermost layer of the hair follicle is the connective tissue sheath, which is shown here in this blue color. Hair itself is a non-living structure produced by the hair follicle. So the matrix here is part of the hair follicle, which is producing the hair, and then above the matrix, as the cells divide and move towards the surface, we first have the soft, flexible inner layer of the medulla. And then as the keratin gets more dense and more tough, we begin to see the cortex of the hair, which is in this darker brown color. The cortex of the hair is the dense outer layer made up of hard keratin. And then the outermost layer is the surface or coating of the hair, which is a single layer of dead cells making up the cuticle. The overall structure of the hair with reference to where it is sitting inside the skin The deepest part, this enlarged region, is the base of the hair follicle. That is what contains the bulb of the hair. The root of the hair extends from the bulb all the way up towards the surface of the skin. The part of the hair that extends past the surface is the shaft. The shaft is where you will see the size, shape, and color variation of the hair, which is determined by the melanocytes in the follicle. The density and type of pigment produced by melanocytes will determine the pigment color. White or gray colored hair is lack of pigment production by the melanocytes, or even sometimes air bubbles within the hair itself. This is a summary of all of the structures that we talked about, and you may also want to view the anatomy of the hair video, which is linked to this site. Let me know if you guys have any questions.